Hey, Salty here, and welcome to another Can We Fix It? Today's cards we'll be looking at be all from the newest set, Empire of Glass. Um, Most of the cards we got were pretty good, but like in every set, they always release a bunch of trash cards that for both legendary and rare, which are just filler cards, and they don't really see any play. Their excuse would be it would be good in draft, but I think some of these cards won't even be any better in draft even if you wanted them to be. Um, so yeah, and the first card we'll be looking at here is I cannot read these names for the life of me. Izha Daredevil. Like it says right here, when this card takes damage on your turn, create and draw two cards and it gains flying. That, sure, an effect like that seems kind of useful, but during your turn, and it needs to take damage, meaning you would have to use one of your damaging spells on it, which you would rather use on the enemy. Like, that's kind of a way. Sure, you get two cards, but they're random. They're not of your choice. So, I was just thinking to myself, and sadly enough, this is the first card I got when I was opening up my packs, too. My first legendary. I'm like, fuck off. It's just a useless 666. And it shows a picture of a bird, but doesn't fly until it takes damage. So I figured to myself, how to fix this, And this is what I went with. When you play a non-power card, it deal damage equal to the card's cost plus 2. So then the fucking passive effect can actually go off. So it would have more play, and it also limits you from playing a lot of cards. Because if you play too much, you'll kill it. Sure, you'll get a big handful of random stuff. But at the same time, that might make it a little too OP. I don't know. I just wanted to try to improve these cards. I don't really think about balancing too much, but when I try to balance it out, I decided to give it one extra fire influence. Maybe we should do two. But this type of card would see lots more play, and it would even work well in that what's it called? That card I made a deck about where if you do 100 damage, it deals 100 damage to your opponent, like the mastery effect. I don't remember these cards off the top of my head. Because, like, if we're talking balance-wise, you can just play a bunch of cards and you get, like, if it's a fire deck, they're not that expensive. Let's say you play at least 3 cards. No, actually, you can only play at least 2 cards before killing it because the average cost is around 2, right? So you play 2 cards and you get 4 cards back. 2 times 4, yeah. So, I don't know, I think that would still make this card much more better. So anyways, that's all I have to say about this pick. Let's get on the next card. Okay, next we have is Roadmaker, the card, the token and sentinel that spawns from Clear the Way. This card itself is not bad, but I wouldn't say it's good either. Like, I recently made a Times Justice Sentinel deck, and it actually worked, and this card helped a lot. But not because of its passive, just mainly because I summoned 2 of them, and it works well with Titan Forgery. And it's not bad, but here's the thing. When it hits the enemy player, you play a Sentinel from hand. That is a good effect. But here's the thing. You might not have any Sentinels in your hand. Or, since it's free 6, it doesn't even have Overwhelm, it'll probably get blocked most of the time. Sure, it's still decent having two Roadmakers to keep attacking, but it's not really worth it in my personal opinion to sacrifice 3 relics, just 3 to 2 relics, to play this card right away, right? Some would see it, but if you're playing in Throne, they probably get stopped right away by some sort of control card. So what I decided to do to make it somewhat better was do this. It gives all your sentinels have bond now, and when this card hits the enemy player, you just draw the top sentinel of your deck. So it's still because when you play 2 of these, now you have a better chance of using their attack, which is really tiny 3, to play one of your slightly bigger sentinels. So you might be able to play, I don't know, 2 Sandstorm Titans if you had them in your hand. next turn if you had Roadmaker, the two Roadmakers out. And and because of how I said that when you attack the enemy player, but you might not have any Sentinels in your hand, I figured it would be much better. Like I said before, instead of playing a Sentinel from your hand, you just draw one from your deck. Then you can use the Bond ability on one of your Sentinels who haven't attacked yet. Might be a little broken, thinking about it now, but it depends on the situation. But I think I would rather have this than the current one, anyways. So yeah, let's go on the next card. And now we're looking at another Sentinel card, the Goldplate Goliath. When this card was spoiled, I was so heartbroken. Like, it's not good whatsoever. Sure, having Decay double damage endurance seems really powerful, but the cost 10, not worth it. Sure, technically it's a 10, 12, 6, but it's too slow to play. And usually, the most problem with Sentinels, though, you would usually get destroyed by other faster decks. Even controls are faster, but before you have the chance to actually play any of your Sentinels, and this is just one of those cards. And also, what's with this summon effect? You gain 3 health for each of your exhaust unit, meaning you should play this after you attacked. Why? And the Entomb seems okay. Draw one other Sentinel from your void, or each other Sentinel. So I guess it's saying you can only draw. I think it's saying you can draw everything besides it, or you can only draw a single copy of each Sentinel besides it. I don't know how the wording works for that. I'm a big fan of Sentinels, and this was such a big disappointment. So this is how I think we should fix it. Get rid of the summon effect and replace it with an amplify effect where you sacrifice a Sentinel to pay 2 less. That's the number I'm going with for now. And then you gain 3 health for every time you sacrifice one. It still keeps the Entomb, it still keeps whatever, it still costs 10, but now you got to sacrifice your other Sentinels. And since there's now cheaper Sentinels, this card would be a little bit easier to play. And it could be, even though you play it early, your opponent could already have early control to kill it, right? As well, I decided to make it cost free fire 3 times. So, and also the Entomb effect would work much better this way, because technically you can grab back your Sentinels you use the sacrifice to play this. Like, I'm surprised they didn't do this for some of their Sentinels. Like, you sacrifice something to play. The only thing they did was for the clear the way, right? I don't know why they didn't make more of that. We all know this stuff like this they're never going to change. These cards are going to be useless for the remaining of all time, but it's always nice to what if, right? So this could be broken. Maybe they could be reduced to 1 cost, but then you have to sacrifice 5 Sentinels just to play this. I don't think that's really worth it. Maybe you just want to gain 15 life, then maybe it's worth it. Who knows? So it's on the next card. Okay, next we got Arach Razorshaper. When I saw this and I was looking at all the collection, I'm like, this card is useless. Another filler legendary. And it's kind of weird how its effect is when a Grenadin dies, each unit or weapon in your hand gets +1. Why a Grenadin? I thought this whole thing was supposed to be tribes with themselves. Like, I think there's another card that does tribes with another, that doesn't relate to another card, but I can't recall at this moment. And then it summons a 1/1 deadly Grenadin equal to its attack. I'm like, this card will never see play because you're not going to make a Grenadin Valkyrie deck. And besides this, I don't think there's ever been another Grenadin Valkyrie card besides that other one. Was it a uncommon? That I don't remember her name, but I think she also summons Grenadins when you play her. I guess that you're supposed to make a deck with those 2, or maybe it's just for draft. But yeah, I say no to both of them. So this is how I would fix it. Pretty much the same effect, but it summons a Valkyrie instead, and it reacts when a Valkyrie dies. That's it. It summons the Silverblade Reaper. You know, that one Valkyrie that get summoned with what's his name? Nightmare Ronin. Every time enemy unit dies, like, why not? This might be a little bit too powerful because it's summoning a flyer with Deadly. But Sandstorm Titan can stop it. Also, what's that? That's not stopping bloody Nightmare Roland, right? I think that's even more powerful. So, who knows? So yeah, that's enough about this card. Let's get on to the next one. Now we're looking at the new Justice site, the Lord Stefford Tower. Valkyrie Warp, you may advance Rhoda's agenda additional time this turn. So pretty much you can play 2 of the agendas. Like, that's not a bad idea. But it has no passive effect besides that. And Valkyrie Warp is a joke mechanic. Like, it could be useful, but they didn't make enough cards to synergize with it. Unlike Bloody Man, the Mandrakes, those plants with their ultimate synergy, that's fucking crazy. We'll kill them to do a lot more Valkyrie Warp synergy, or make Valkyries react when you warp a card, not just Valkyrie Warp. So, I just did a simple fix. When you warp a card, play a 1/1 Valkyrie of Flying, equal to its cost. So, yeah. And most of the Valkyrie Warp cards aren't even that expensive, from my knowledge. This might be broken, but at the same time, the site only has 2 health. You can pretty much kill it with a bloody torch. Is it a torch? No, it's not. Maybe I'm thinking... Does torch kill sites now? No. Does the, I can't remember the name. The free cost deal free damage, or the 2 cost deal free damage. I don't know. It's still an easy site to kill. That's all I'm gonna say. And also the Rota herself isn't even that good of a card. Sure, flying endurance, and you get to draw at the end of your turn, or I think end of the turn, you draw as many cards as your opponent has. I think it can be useful against a control deck, I guess. But at the same time, no, because your opponent might not have any cards in their hands. Yeah. Simple fix. I'd love to see it. Next card. Blow the Dam. Double damage lifesteal, deal 0, and you amplify when you discard a card in your market. Like, I understand what they were going with this card because they made a bunch of cycle cards where you add random cards to your market. But at the same time, it's not consistent enough, and this card is really expensive, and when you use it, you could have 5 cards in your market, right? But at the same time, you might need your market to grab the cards you need, and let's say you still have 5. You get rid of it, 10 damage, double damage, that's 20. Pretty much a done deal, right? But even the cost kind of makes it slow. I'm not thinking about it now. It's not a bad card, but it's not a good card either. And thinking about it, because I made these before you were recording, I do these fix. I think the fix I'm about to suggest might make it a little too strong in this situation, which is when a card is added to your market, increase the damage by 1. Because you're filling up a dam with water, right? Let's say if you have an empty dam, and then you try to play this card, right? That's my only idea I could think of to make this card somewhat playable. It could also be a little bit too broken, so I decided to balance it out, add 1 more Fire and Shadow influence. So, yeah, you're all probably going to say, Salty, no, this is too much. This is too much. Thinking about it now, I kind of agree with you. So yeah, that's it for Can We Fix It? If you want to suggest cards I should fix, just leave a comment down below. Otherwise, see you all next time. Bye-bye. Well, that's the end of this video. If you want to see more in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? But in the meantime, why don't you check out these playlists? And I want to thank my patrons whose donations, big or small, really help support my channel. Anyways, hope to see you in the next video.